Good morning, Business Exploration. This is going to be the second video to watch or video to watch for Lesson 2. Once again, you'll have the Accounting Unit Lesson 2 notes in both a Word document and Accounting Unit Lesson 2 notes in a PDF file. You may use whichever one you want to help you take notes. And then I'm going to go through the notes once you open up your Unit Lesson 2 notes. And then, of course, you're going to have another Accounting Unit Lesson 2 worksheet to do. All right, so at this point, you should have your note packets open, either your Word document or your PDF. And the fill in the blanks are, the first one is income statement. All right, the income statement tells you both the earnings and profitability of a business. And it's always stated for a specific period of time, such as a month, a quarter, or a year. All right, on the income statement, you have three things. You first have revenues. Revenues are the total amount of money that you collect for goods and services that you sell. All right, and then any other income you might make. For instance, back when I used to have the gas stations, we used to have a payphone that we would get a percentage of the coins taken in by the payphone. It didn't amount to much, but it was some extra income. All right, the second part of an income statement is expenses. So you're going to list all of your expenses in operating your business. Your salary expense for your workers, your rent expense, your food expense if you have a pizza shop, uniform expense, utility expense, all those different expenses. They'll all be shown up on the income statement. And then when you take your revenues and you subtract your expenses, that leaves you with your net profit. That's how much money you're going to make before you have to pay taxes. All right, so a net profit is the amount of money that is left after subtracting expenses from revenues. So basically, it's just all the money you're taking in revenues, subtracting all the money that you're paying out in expenses, and that's your net profit. All right, next financial statement I want to talk about is startup costs. So before you begin, let's stay on the topic of a pizza shop. Before you begin your pizza shop, you're going to have to spend money on legal to set up the corporation. You're going to have to spend money on the inventory before you can actually start selling anything. You're going to have signage expenses, menu expenses. You're going to have all kinds of expenses that you're going to have to spend money on before you sell your very first pizza. And all those costs that you spend money on before you sell your very first product are called startup costs. All right. And then finally for this lesson, we have accounting ratios. Accounting ratios are a way of expressing the relationship between one accounting result and another, which is intended to provide useful comparisons. Accounting ratios assist in measuring the efficiency and profitability of a company based on its financial reports. Accounting ratios form the basis of fundamental analysis. So if you want to know how well a company is doing, you're going to look at their accounting ratios. The first accounting ratio we're going to talk about is the current ratio. So you take your current assets, which are assets like cash or inventory, anything that's going to become cash within the next year. And you divide that by your current liabilities. That's anything that you're going to have to pay that you owe to someone else over the next 12 months. All right, so you have your current assets, you divide it by your current liabilities, and that's your current ratio. It basically tells you how well you can pay off your debts. Are you going to have any troubles with having any bankruptcies or anything like that? All right, and then finally today, price to earnings ratio is the other accounting ratio I just want to mention. This is a way of taking your price of your stock and dividing it by the earnings that you've made for that company, and that gives you your PE or your price to earnings ratio. It basically talks about how expensive stock is in a publicly traded company. All right, so those are the notes for accounting Unit Lesson 2, and now you're going to complete Accounting Unit Lesson 2 worksheet. Thank you.